everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an epic show ahead, but just remember, if any of you have experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or head over to paranormalportal.net and scroll down and find the button that says Interview Me, and that'll allow you to look at a calendar of possible times and dates and find a date that works for you. Love to hear your stories, so definitely get in touch with me. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I am your host, Brent Thomas, and this is another adventure into the wild, weird world of the paranormal. And thank you all for joining me, and thank you for all the love and support. We've got an amazing show lined up for you guys today. I am welcoming back Patti Troy from Alberta to the show, and she was on last fall, and we had a good talk about a couple of her experiences, but she's got more and wanted to bring it back to the table, so we're going to dive into that now, folks, so buckle up. We're going in. Hey, Patti, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back.
Well, thanks for having me, Brent.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. And we had a good talk last time, but there's still a lot more going on that you've been through, huh?
Yeah, I told you the first couple stories of my life, and then there was the last story, but there's 40 years in between. I did have a few more experiences.
Yeah, by all means. So take us away. Where are we going today?
Well, last time I told you a couple of the things I'd seen when I was a kid. Weird hamburglar and a rake Wendigo thing. And
right.
I forgot to tell you about the Easter Bunny.
Oh, wow. You saw
That's embarrassing.
That's fine.
Just his ears.
Let's hear it.
Just his ears.
Okay.
I was 8, and we went to visit my aunt in Saskatchewan. Like, she has a farm in Saskatchewan. So we went there for Easter, and I know I was really worried about the Easter Bunny finding us because we weren't at home. Same thing if we went there at, Christmas time.
Yeah.
What's the Easter Bunny going to find us? So.
Well, it's important to kids, so yeah.
Yeah. I probably left notes for him to where to find me. So maybe that's how he found me. We were at the farm and we were milking in the evening. It was the Saturday night before Easter. And I was looking out the side door of the barn while they were milking. And to the side of the barn, a little ways away, was bales of hay. And there was actually round bales, maybe stacked too high from what I remember, but like too high. I was just staring off, wondering I'm probably thinking about if the Easter Bunny's going to find us, to be honest. And behind the bales, I'm looking and I'm like, what is that? I see these two. It took me a long time to figure out what it was, but it was like two huge yellow Easter Bunny ears above those bales.
Oh, wow.
That I was staring at. They were really tall. And it took me a while to figure it out. Like, what is that? And then I realized, could that be the Easter Bunny? Because I really thought the Easter Bunny was just a little white bunny in my head.
Sure.
I had stared at it for quite a while trying to figure out what it was. Like, it was there. And went to get my older cousin who was milking, and by the time I got him back to show him, because I'm all excited about the Easter Bunny, it was gone. We just saw dusky sky behind those bales.
Wow.
So they thought I was crazy, of course. I still get made fun of to this day that Patti saw the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, families are brutal that way.
But, not long after I figured out about the Easter Bunny, I didn't know, but I still saw that. And I won't change my story about it. I saw those ears it just starts to freak me out when I got older. It's like, was it trying to get me like by myself behind those bales
Oh, right, right.
to go check it out? It didn't even occur to me to go see because we weren't allowed to leave the barn
Oh,
for
okay.
anything. Like, at even at 8 or whatever, we'd have to have somebody watch us to go back to the house or anything like that. So it hadn't even occurred to me. But
Why
I don't know
was
if you
that? What was that extra layer of caution about? Is that just how you were raised, or did they have some
Yeah,
knowledge of
at the
something?
farm, they were always talking about bears. So
Oh, sure. Okay.
I never actually saw a bear in Saskatchewan my whole life. I've seen lots of bears, but never there. That
Okay.
they were just worried about that, or who knows what they were worried about. But
Well, it
we
just
couldn't
makes me
just take
wonder
off by ourselves.
if there was a history of strange phenomena that they were like, don't go out after dark, because a lot of cultures are that way, and that especially with the wood booger culture in the South, the Zonoqua up in the Pacific Northwest, that was always cautionary tales, and they're basically Bigfoot kind of things, but they're like, don't go out after dark, or X will get you, and whatever, fill in the term. But usually those are based on some familiarity with somebody seeing something. So that's why I was
Yeah.
wondering if there was any knowledge about that you have.
Well, too, because like I was such a terrified child. My mom even brought that up a couple of years ago. you know,
Sure.
they wouldn't tell me anything that they thought would scare me anyway. So I'd be the last person to know, even if there had been like a local legend or anything around there.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, they even thought the old farmhouse was haunted. But if anybody spoke anything about ghosts in front of me with my aunt, like she would hit them
It's like,
because,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
She'll,
I was the one that was always screaming at night because I'd been so terrified as a child. And yeah, it took me, well, I'm still getting over it, but
oh,
yeah,
sure. That's
they
that's
wouldn't
really
let me watch stuff.
well. The thing that's interesting is that you were the child that was always scared, but that's because you actually had a lot of experiences too, right?
Well, I had that one experience was my first one with that window. I had like a Wendigo rake thing
Yeah,
come out of my closet.
that's horrifying.
Yeah, that
So
was my first experience. So like, yeah, it set the bar pretty high for
right.
when I was 4,
But
and I wanted.
when you think of
Oh, sorry.
a kid trying to absorb that and trying to come to terms with that, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all that you were a scared child. That's a
Yeah,
nightmare.
it was embarrassing, and too like sometimes, yeah, sometimes even a Disney show might set me off, like
Mm,
screaming if there was like a ghost child or something. I just could not. I hated that. I hated
yeah.
anything paranormal, but fascinated at the same time. So
Right, right. Now about those ears, so they were actually there. They were that you could see the color. It wasn't like dim light or anything. You could see that they were yellow and they were rabbit ears.
they were, yeah, like yellow. They were on like almost like lights. Like when you see beams of lights now,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't see them back then. We didn't have lights out there, but
Okay.
yeah, going up. But like they were bright.
Oh,
And definitely when I got my cousin to come back and look, there absolutely was nothing there.
hmm.
So
That's an
I don't.
intense thing. And I realize maybe for some people that sounds kind of silly, but you're right. If there is something supernatural that's predating a child, trying to lure a child, you would obviously, if you had the ability, you'd probably change to a form where a child would want to come investigate. And that's a good point. I know that those kind of things are claimed, and I think that's really a terrifying prospect, really.
Yeah, who knows how what I don't know. I think they're a little bit sinister, these creatures, thingies, or whatever, even if they come as a cartoon character or something with these kids. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
I don't know what the intentions are.
Yeah, it
I
is
did,
really weird and worrisome.
yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, this wasn't necessarily a soup, but it's something that happened to me in Saskatchewan too. I don't know what it was. I'm thinking now almost like a spiritual sort of attack.
Oh, okay.
When I was about 10, I was at the farm again, and me and my aunt, she needed to go into town. So I went with her, And I was alone with her, not without my sister, which is unusual because we would always be together, especially out there. She went into town and stopped at a friend's house and left me in the truck and went inside to visit a friend for a few minutes. But do you know like that ringing in the ears thing, or
Yeah.
that
Oh, absolutely.
you see it in weapon? There's that tone. It's like a vibration. I started to feel that when I was alone in the truck, and as crazy as it sounds, like for some reason I couldn't remember who I was all of a sudden.
Oh, wow.
Like
Okay.
I knew I was in the truck. I all of a sudden couldn't remember who I was. I didn't get hit on the head or anything that day. I don't know what caused this.
Mm.
It was right after my aunt went inside, and I don't even remember if I thought she was my aunt or if I knew. I was just really confused. But as soon as that hit me, we were in town, but she was the last house in town. And to the right of me was bush. So I couldn't remember who I was. I was sitting there confused, and I had this uncontrollable urge to get out and to walk into the woods.
Oh,
Something was just telling me, get out, start walking south into those woods. And I was thinking about doing that. I'm going for the door handle, and it's like I had a devil on the right, angel on the left,
yeah.
because in the head it was like, do not move. Don't move. This is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
This will pass. And I kept hearing like that urge to walk into the woods. And I would think about it, and even looking at the door handle, and that voice on the other side of me is like, do not move. This is temporary. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing took like 10 minutes. I could even hear my aunt saying like, Patty's in the truck. And I was thinking like, who's Patty? You know, I hope that's not my name.
Right.
Ugh.
Right.
And it took 10 minutes, and then it just completely dissolved, and my aunt came back into the truck, and it just all went away. And I never told anybody because I thought like that might be signs like having a brain something.
Oh, sure. That's interesting though, because I got to tell you, Patty, I've covered thousands of stories through the years that people have claimed, and one of the things that does come up is people hearing a weird tone and then feeling compelled to do something that doesn't make sense. Like there was this one situation where these guys were hiking with a group, and they kind of broke away from the group and just went up higher on the mountain, and were just kind of there, and suddenly they both felt really, really odd, and they heard a weird sound, like a whistling sound is what it was described as, which kind of sounds like that ringing in the ears that you're mentioning. And then they were absolutely disoriented, and they started hearing in their minds the sound of water running. So they felt absolutely compelled to start walking towards that water, and they started, and then I guess one of them snapped out of it first and then got the other one out of it. But once they were snapped out of it, there was no water running, and they were like, what are we doing? And so they quick went back down to rejoin the rest of the party they were with. But that's terrifying stuff. I mean, that makes you wonder, is that how the missing 411 starts, you know? Because it does come up.
I didn't even, well, I've always remembered this. I also had a time in Jasper when I wanted to go climb a mountain when I was 10 kilometers away when I was 5 years old.
Mm.
Something was compelling me or telling me, like, wait for your dad to go into the tent, and I was going to take off.
Oh, God. Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about 401. It's just come up recently, and we've got missing kids here this summer, and then I was like, is that what happens?
Yeah.
I do wonder.
Exactly. And nobody really knows what the source of it is. Some people claim it's cryptid. Some people claim it's alien. Some people claim it's, supernatural, spiritual. But whatever it is, people just felt like they had their will being overwritten by something. And that's terrifying.
Like, it was an uncontrollable urge almost. Thank God for that voice on the other side of me. It was a, do not move.
Good.
You don't go anywhere.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a spiritual attack. I've heard of I am a Christian and I hear about spiritual texts, but I don't necessarily know what that means. So,
Yeah, I think it can mean any number of things, either by a person of dark spirits or an actual spiritual presence coming and causing problems, or all of the above. But yeah, that's horrifying. So I'm thrilled that you were able to come through that and tell us this story.
well, maybe it would have been fine and they just find me on the other side of the woods, but yeah, it was weird.
Or maybe they never would have found you at all, and that's the scary part.
Well, I thought, so yeah, what's the point of that? I didn't know, because I do know there was a field somewhere on the other side of it. Was like, but yeah, I've had the feeling last couple of years that if I had gone into those woods, I'm not sure that I would have come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what's occurring to me, and the parallels are actually uncanny. So once you started explaining that, it's like, ooh, I've heard of this, and it doesn't usually end real well. So, but in your case, it did, and in those hikers' case, it did. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's thousands of people that go missing, and they're just gone, and no rhyme or reason. And of course, David Paulides has made a career out of it. And it's scary stuff. Something's going on out there. So it's very possible that you had a close brush with something like that.
I don't know. I feel like I was sort of stalked when I was a kid, but I don't know. Like,
Okay.
I believe in guardian angels, but maybe we're also given, the opposite of that follows us through life too. Like, I wonder about that.
So why don't you tell us about that? What is the story there?
My next story was like I didn't have a whole lot happen after about 8. I
Okay.
did become a Christian actually by myself.
Oh, cool.
Well, by myself, but
Sure.
I didn't come from a religious family,
Mhm.
but I became Christian about 8. And I didn't see a whole lot or hear like I would explain everything away, right? So there was stuff that happened that if you ignored it, it doesn't get worse in my experience. But when I was about 20 years old, I was working at this hotel. I think it's the oldest in Edmonton here. And during the day, I was doing housekeeping, even running it. And then in the evening, or 3 to 5, 3 to 8, I would work in the diner. And one night, one of the regulars came in. He was a cab driver, and he came in every day or two. And we talked all the time, but he brought in this young man with him. And I was about 20, and he was about the same age. They had dinner, and it was unusual to see him with somebody else anyway. Plus, this guy was like 20 years younger. And they actually pulled out, I think it was a chessboard, chess or checkers
Mhm.
they were playing. So, which was sort of unusual for me.
Yeah.
Nobody did that there. They were there for a couple of hours that night, and we talked and laughed. And actually, because it was 30 years ago, so I guess his friend, the kid, the cab driver's friend, I guess he was talking, like he had a bit of a crush on me.
Oh.
Back 30 years ago, I was cuter, but
Stop.
that was kind of the vibe of the night. Like, cab driver, like I'd come to the table, we'd talk, and he was just making offhand comment, like, you should ask her out, or like stuff like that. Like, obviously, they were just innocent, flirty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were there for a couple hours. Then they left, and I locked up, came back in the morning for housekeeping. And we had a nice conversation. He was a nice kid, nice guy. We talked quite a bit and laughed. But I came in the morning into the hotel side of it, and in the lobby, they had left the night before. And he was standing in the lobby, this kid. I call him a kid now, but he looked completely lost. Like, it was him, but he had obviously he had checked into the hotel somehow in the middle of the night. And he was in the lobby in the morning and he was acting really strange. Just walking around, like not saying a word to anybody, walking around looking lost. And my manager and the front desk, they were looking at him, just watching him, thinking like maybe he was just acting sketchy, pardon me.
Sure.
And I was watching that and I was surprised to see him there in the morning and surprised to find out that he had checked in because he didn't have a bag or anything with him that night. And there was no talk about checking into the hotel. And the manager's watching him and he was in last night. He's a really nice guy. Because I could tell that he had his eyes on him. He went into the diner. He was just walking around, just lost. It was weird. And I went into the diner with him. So he was just walking around and I'm like asking, like, can I help you? Or, did you want to place an order? He never said a word. Just looked around lost. We even looked at his registration card because I know they were kind of like, who checked him in?
Yeah.
The way he was acting. And that was 30 years ago. They had just index cards.
Uh-huh.
And it was like chicken scratch. Like we couldn't make out much on the card.
Oh, no.
About his information and stuff like that. It was just, he must have filled it out himself and it was just like chicken scratch. And then we were even asking ourselves, like, who checked him in and why, right?
Right.
So I can't remember everything because people acting unusual at this hotel was not unusual.
Okay.
It was the kind of place you went to sometimes people got lost there. Like, went off the rails there a little bit. So not totally unusual, but twice that day, I believe he checked out, but for some reason he was still in and about the hotel. And I know that he scared me twice.
He scared you?
I was once in a stairway and once in a hallway, but both times I just came around the corner, the stairway, and he was just standing there.
Oh.
Kind of like a jump scare thing.
Yeah.
But he was just standing there and he would just start talking gibberish.
Oh.
Like he was talking, but I couldn't make any words out. I did tell the management, like this guy's creeping in the halls.
Yeah.
But he left, and the next day I was going to work outside. Somehow I was walking past a doorway, and he just came out from nowhere. Just came right down behind me, just stood there. Like I started running a bit back in the days when I could run. But
sure.
He came straight down after me, stood behind me while I started booking it. And he was talking gibberish again. And when I got like half a block up or whatever, I thought he was like following me, but he was still just standing there, just talking to himself.
Oh, no.
But nobody was paying attention to him. So I told work again, like, I think that guy's stalking me. Or
yeah.
I didn't know what to make of it, right?
Right.
Because there was problems with another guy at the hotel too. He was a murderer, but he was kind of stalking me too. So they would watch me because I was like 20 working by myself in this diner.
Jeez, yikes!
Sketchy part of downtown. So after that scare, they were just kind of watching out for me, right? And I'm like, I didn't know what he was doing because I didn't want to claim that he was necessarily stalking me because he wasn't doing anything. He would just jump out from nowhere and just start talking gibberish. The cab driver that night, did come in by himself, and I asked him I'm like, remember that kid you came in a couple days ago? And I started, I told him he came back, he checked into the hotel, he's acting very weird. And he knew his name, I can't remember it anymore, and he's like, Joe's back. He was in another town. And I'm like, I'm sure it's him. Like, I'm just telling you because I didn't know how to bring it up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get all nosy and stuff too, but I was just wondering because he's been around here and he's acting really sketchy. And I thought maybe, I didn't think he was necessarily on drugs. I thought maybe he was off something. Like,
Oh,
the change was so fast from the night I met him. And then in the morning, like, he was a completely different guy. It's like a shell of him.
yeah. That's a lot creepy. Oh my God.
I was starting to think, like, I just had a weird feeling about it. It was starting to get weird. I mean, it was weird, but
Yeah, it's like starting. What?
it started to feel a little bit unworldly, but we also live in a world where these things can't happen, right?
No, for sure. Yeah.
A couple days later, I was working on the Saturday. They would take me out, like, make sure that got to the car okay or whatever. And the front desk at the end of my shift was 4 p.m. on a Saturday, downtown. Absolutely empty parking lot. And he just came out and there was, like, nobody there. And he just left me because I'm like, I'm fine. Like, it was Edmonton downtown, but it was absolutely dead. Like, nobody around. It had snowed all day. There wasn't even, like, tire tracks or anything in this great big parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only car there. I was cleaning off the car and warming it up. And he was, like, right out. Like, I had no worries because he couldn't sneak up on me anyway. Like, I was in an open parking lot.
Yeah.
Dusting off my car. And, yeah, a couple seconds later, I'm dusting off the car and I hear mumbling behind me.
Oh God. Yikes.
Yeah. I turned around and that's why I thought it didn't make sense. This kid came from nowhere. He was walking, mumbling, and walking at like a really quick pace towards me. And like when I mean like he came from nowhere, like there's no reason that he should have been coming at me like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him.
Wow.
I got in the car, took off. He just stood where he stood. He stopped and just stood there and watched me. And I just peeled out of the parking lot. And I know for a fact, I was like, I'm not even going to tell anybody about this because it was too crazy. Like,
Yeah.
they had just been outside with me, making sure nobody was there. Then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, he's coming towards me from nowhere.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I thought if I told them, they're not going to believe me. Like,
right.
I'm going to be looking like a person that's just looking for attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also had the feeling I would never see him again and it was over. It was weird.
And was that the last you saw of him?
I never saw him again. I wasn't even worried about seeing him again. I wasn't looking over my shoulder.
Oh, good.
And it was just weird because I know it was that guy, but like each time I saw him,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the morning after, it was like a shell of him almost. Like he wasn't talking. He never did say a word to me again other than the mumbling.
Yeah.
And each time I saw him, he just seemed to be getting like more sinister. You know, he did have a hoodie, and the hoodie seemed to even be getting like bigger and deeper over his head.
Oh.
Like, it was weird. And I don't know if a mimic is even a possibility, but like it was like somebody playing him, even though I didn't know him that well. So I don't know if you can make anything of that, or if.
Well, it certainly could be. I mean, certainly doppelgangers is a real phenomenon where people see somebody and then they'll see the real person in an impossible place. That means that they couldn't have been the same person, but something portraying itself as that. And yeah, I mean, certainly that comes up a lot in supernatural encounters. That's, these things. Well, and I say these things like I know what they are, and I don't, but there does seem to be a huge precedence of things wearing masks, so to speak, and they seem to be able to adjust their appearance to look like something or someone, and make people feel more comfortable. I in some cases, I think they might be time slips, just people experiencing different periods of time simultaneously, and that's why they see, oh, there's Dad in the hallway, and then they go to the end of the house. Oh, there's Dad in his den, and they couldn't be the same person. So is it possible there's some sort of time anomaly going on? Yeah, but could it also be something that's just snooping around, and it's easier to wear a dad suit than it is to look like whatever it looks like? And so, I mean, it's all speculation, but yeah, it's not unheard of.
Your paranormal portal, but yeah, I'm starting to picture portals now where there's just costumes on the other side.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, I think a lot of these
grab the bunny ears.
right. A lot of these, these experiences are with energetic beings, and of course, matter is just an arrangement of energy. So I think that they can just metamorphosize themselves, or metamorphose, or whatever the correct term would be, to look however they want to look. They could look like they're 10 feet tall, or they can look like they're, a little ball of light, or a shadow, or whatever. So I don't think they're constrained in a physical way like we are to a certain form. They can be whatever, or they can be perceived however they want. And maybe the perception is projected and it's a telepathic projection. We don't know, but that maybe they can manipulate how we perceive them, rather than they're actually changing a form.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I do know that at least, other people did see him. Like, he was acting all weird in the lobby.
And thank God for that, though, too, right?
Pardon me?
Thank God for that other people saw him, so that you're not questioning your sanity. This was a real phenomenon experienced by several people.
Yeah, the later parts where he was jumping out and scaring me, that's when... because nobody was there those times. And
sure.
The last time, that's when I was like, I'm not telling anybody. They are going to think I am looking for attention, because he should not have been there. It's time before cell phones too. I couldn't call and say, he's he's out in the parking lot here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame you, because who do you tell? Who do you tell when it's, because if it's just a weird person, okay, that's manageable. But if it's a weird person that manages to be wherever you are and popping out of nowhere, then it becomes a little harder to stretch, people's paradigms around. So I don't blame you for not sharing that.
It was the weird part. And for some reason, I just knew it was never going to happen again. Other things started happening later, weird men. And it was a bad one. Not a great place for a young girl.
Yeah.
20-year-old girl to be working. It was probably telling me I should leave, to be honest. But
the other part of it is, and I've been wondering this as we're talking, and it comes up a lot, that people that are I don't like the term. I hate the term personally, but it's gifted. People that are spiritually gifted, and whether you know it or not, a lot of times those people that are spiritually gifted, or aware, I should maybe say, they do have a lot more experiences than the average person, just because they're more receptive to those subtler energies, or those different energies. And therefore they do seem to be targeted by entities as well, people that have a natural sensitivity. So have you noticed that you are?
Sensitive?
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not that person that will go into a place and say, oh, I feel the energy of a...
Sure.
There's a 30-year-old woman died in childbirth.
Right.
That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, I have seen more than maybe other people. But I think other people do see it too. It's just maybe not acknowledging it.
Right.
Or willing to go there. Because... it sounds great. I'm thinking that I've got a mimic stalker type of thing. That's not an easy thing to say for people to, even if they did think it's true, right?
Right.
These things that we see when they're physical, they have to be physical, is what the world tells us, right?
Right.
So there is no other possibilities, other than just being a strange circumstance or anything. But
yeah.
I'll say the last couple of years, I've been revisiting these things that have happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And even just realizing what they are, like the Hamburglar or whatever, like that was just a weird memory I had, but
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily thinking it was paranormal until finally going like, duh, you know,
Yeah.
like what else can it be when it's coming in and out of reality and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like if I am gifted, or I would rather not be, but
Well, and
I
I don't mean to sound like that's not a. I think we all are to some degree, but some people are just more cranked up than others, and it's some oftentimes they're not really aware of it, but they'll have a lot more experiences or even strong intuitions. You know, I think are a form of that sensitivity to energy. Like if you have a really good intuition and empathy, then chances are you're a very sensitive soul. So I do have an idea, but I'm gonna wait till the very end to throw it at you and see what you think. But what happens next?
well, as far as a story, I actually a couple years after that incident, I was 6 months pregnant, living with my ex. We had moved into a house that was owned by a friend's mother,
Mm-hmm.
and with us when we moved in, my ex's coworker and friend also moved in with us, living downstairs. They went to work together. They worked together every day, so it was perfect. And the thing that wasn't perfect, though, was 3 months into it, and the guy living down, he hadn't paid any rent yet.
Oh
He hadn't
no.
helped us at all.
Oh.
So it was going on like the third month, and he was going through a divorce, was why he was living with us. And here it is, the third month, no rent. And he'd gone out the night before, or, we were starting to get a little miffed. Well, my ex was super miffed.
Yeah.
He's got money to go out, but it's like third month here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the morning, like he was really mad the night before while he was out, and he was going to have a stern talking with him in the morning, right? And in the morning, we got up and we were waiting for him to come upstairs. We hadn't heard him come home, so they can go to work together, right? And my ex waited for him for 10 or 15 minutes. He didn't come up, so he finally got mad and he wrote out a really bad note too
Mm-hmm.
about the paying the rent and stuck it on the back door. He's like, I'm sick of waiting for him. I got to go to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he left that note there, and I was like, no, you can't do it. Like it was a bad, demeaning note, right?
Oh.
Like you can't leave that note there with me here by myself, pregnant.
Right.
And I was picturing him running up the stairs right after he left because he missed his ride, and then seeing this note.
Right.
So my ex left, and I'm not going to wait for him. And he left that note there, and I was kind of freaking out about it, the way it was worded and stuff. And I was alone in the house with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was debating taking that off the door. And I went back to the bedroom, sat on the bed. I was thinking about what to do. Out of nowhere, I heard a whole party of people downstairs. And
Oh.
it didn't start slowly or anything like that. It was just all of a sudden, it sounded like there was 50 people downstairs talking and laughing,
Oh
like
wow.
loud.
Okay.
So I'm like, my heart's pounding even thinking about it. This is the most scared I've ever been because I really thought that there was 50 people in the basement.
Oh.
And we could not figure. I'm like, how did he sneak these people from? I thought he brought the whole bar home.
Right.
How did he sneak them in and we didn't hear them? And they didn't make a noise until the second my ex left, and I went back to the bedroom thinking about taking that note down. So I was picturing them like he was like, oh, he's gone now. We can make noise or something. I didn't
Right.
know what to do. I didn't know what to make of it.
Sure.
So I'm listening, terrified, and I hear them all walk towards the staircase and start going up the stairs, because at the top of the stairs was the back door with that note on it.
Oh no.
So I was like, oh my God. So not only does he have all his friends here, now they're going to see this note that my ex had,
Yeah.
I thought I was in for it. So I was debating, like, oh my God, I wish I took that note down. As soon as they got to the top of the stairs, it just stopped.
Oh, wow.
There was no noise. I was waiting for like, oh my, like I was waiting for them to hear the note or read the note, or it just all stopped. And immediately in my right ear, this is weird, I heard a loud bark.
Bark like a dog?
Yeah, like a dog, like a bark.
Oh, weird.
And then I realized, okay, none of that happened. I'm crazy. And I did the craziest thing too, where I just laid down and went right to sleep for about an hour,
Okay.
which seems like I feel like my battery was drained or something. Like I had no choice in the matter. I was out. I
How?
did creep down the stairs later when I woke up and got the courage to creep down there, and he had never come home.
Oh.
I called people that, you know, 'cause I thought maybe too, because I was 6 months pregnant. So I thought maybe I had like, is there like a pregnancy hallucination? Or I
Yeah.
was calling anybody that had been pregnant or had kids or anything and telling them about this. And like, did you experience like hallucinations or
Yeah.
so? Yeah.
That's horrifying, of course. But, I suppose maybe being under that extreme stress, being 6 months pregnant, and your body's, hormonally going crazy just because,
Yeah.
of all the changes and such that, it is possible it just wiped you out, that, it was too much of a strain and your body just went, sleep now. And so you did. But certainly that sound of just a crowd of people suddenly and then stopping it's almost like a torment.
It came from nowhere and it just ended like that too. But there was they were loud. No music or anything like that, or cleaning of dishes, or it was just talking and laughing. But I couldn't make out words.
Wow.
Again, it seems like I hear these ghostly or these things are mumbling or talking, but I can never don't understand what they're saying.
That is way creepy. Ugh, man. Well, I'm glad it worked out okay. All things considered, but still, that's a really profound moment for sure. So where are we going now?
I don't remember anything else happening in that house. It was the only thing. I do know after I had my son, like weird thing, like I would hear him, a baby crying for maybe 3 months after he was born. I knew it wasn't him.
Oh, really?
Like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I thought maybe every mother heard baby cries.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea if that's normal.
That's got to be bizarre as well, hearing somebody else's kid, even though nobody's there. Yikes!
I checked on him at first, and then when I stopped checking because I knew it wasn't him, it stopped. So.
Oh, okay. So once you filtered it out personally, knowing that wasn't your kid, then the phenomena ended.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
That's
so
interesting.
I try to remember that and try to ignore things. But it might make it worse too.
Well, in this case, it didn't, so that was a good play. But it's very strange. And
Another time, this is actually a person too. This is like 12 or 14 years ago.
mm-hmm.
I was on a bus downtown, and after work, it was rush hour, 5 o'clock, so it was a pretty full bus. And I got on and I sat near the back, and I'd been on there for a minute, and I start hearing there was a woman at the front, near the front, with her back to me, but she was sobbing. Sobbing. I could see her shoulders, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't like when I walked past in the front, like I hadn't seen her, I hadn't noticed her. I'd only been on for a minute or so, but I would have noticed a crying woman up the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking, I could only see long, stringy white hair and her shoulders and hear her, right? But I looked, and I'm looking around too, and she just was crying and sobbing. I wouldn't even say crying. Nobody looked. Nobody. So, okay. So I'm wondering what's wrong with this poor woman, and somebody rang the bell. wasn't her, but she got up and she started to walk towards me down the aisle. And when it scared the shit out of, oh, pardon my language.
It's okay.
When she turned around and started walking to me, I mean, it's unusual seeing a woman sobbing, an elderly woman. She's like probably late 60s, I thought, but she was so white. I was shocked by her appearance. Like, I'm sure I turn around sometimes, people go, oh my, whoa, but this was like,
no.
I'm not saying she was ugly or anything like that, but she was terrifying looking. I've never seen anybody that white, like not in a horror movie. She had thin red lips, but it wasn't like lipstick, just thin red lips. I remember how white and wrinkly she was, even though she didn't seem as old as wrinkly as she was. All wearing all pink for some reason, top to toe. But she's walking down the aisle sobbing. Nobody looked at her, Brent. Like, I was taking in the whole thing, like, what is going on? What am I seeing? And then when I saw her, and it did scare me. It took me back. But no, like, she was walking past people, sobbed. Nobody looked up. Nobody glanced up. Nobody looked at her sideways. Nobody, when she got off the bus too, the bus drivers, you can always see them in the rearview mirror. They always make sure somebody gets off. He didn't even look, just opened the door. She got off just sobbing and shut the door, drove off. And I was just like, what? I wanted to stand up in the bus and like, did anybody see that? Like,
yeah.
The weirdest part was nobody looked, like, it wasn't like not trying to look at her, not to make her uncomfortable or anything like I didn't have that sense at all. It was just like nobody
was aware of it.
No, and she was sobbing like loud. Not something like, it's the only time I've ever seen her on a bus, but it was the weirdest thing. She got off sobbing, and it was actually right in front of the old Edmonton General Hospital. The stop that she got off on, and that's not even a hospital anymore. It's continuing care and hospice now. So I don't know if I was seeing something that nobody else saw. Nobody noticed her, and you can tell when people are trying not to, look at something and that they're not seeing it. But
yeah,
I don't think they were doing that. Like, just nope.
See, as you're explaining these things to me, I'm like, yep, she's sensitive. Yep, she's psychic. Yep, she's because there's so many of these stories that are like, you are definitely having experiences, and you're being confronted with several things: auditory phenomena, visual phenomena, sensations, etc. And it's not like your whole life, but I don't know that even the most psychic person probably doesn't experience things every moment or everywhere. But it's like you're perceiving things, in my opinion, just on the outside looking in. And I think that these, you saw the movie Sixth Sense, right? With the kid. I mean, it's really reminiscent of that in a lot of ways. Like these things are, these presences or intelligences are finding you. And maybe it's the old unfinished business. Hey, this is my story. I need someone to hear it, or closure or whatever. But it seems to me like you probably, should look into it. And one thing that I was thinking as you were going through your stories today is that perhaps you've had something following you your whole life, and it's been trying to, I don't know if I want to say get you, but it's trying to manipulate you for whatever reasons. And it's anybody's guess, and I'm certainly not qualified to guess, but I think all of these situations, or many of them, could be a single presence that's for some reason or another made you its hobby. And I'm not trying to get you worried or anything like that. I don't think it's, that. I think your awareness is good, and it seems like you're pretty dialed into, these situations. You're not like losing control or anything like that, but it just seems to be lingering around you, and for whatever reason. And it It might be more benign. It might be malevolent. It might be just indifferent. I don't know. Maybe it's entertaining. But at any case, I just think it's important for you to maybe learn. You said you're Christian, so I would really invoke your faith and utilize that as a shield and as a protection, because we don't know what these things want. We don't know what they're doing or why they're doing them, but certainly utilize your faith and call upon Christ or the angels or whatever you choose to reach out to. But that's what's occurring to me. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, like I said, this is only a realization, like the last couple years, is that this is all, well, I think we live in the most spiritual world. Some of us just don't accept it. So I think we've seen things that will be flesh and blood. We're going to find out at the end, if we get to find out, that everything that we saw was not necessarily what we thought it was. We took it for granted.
Sure.
I think we live in a supernatural world, man.
Yes, and I agree with that 100%. I've always said, look, if everybody suddenly had perfect vision, that we could see everything around us that we just normally don't see for whatever reasons, we would all be shocked, because we would find that we're swimming in an ocean of spirit. And a lot of times, I think, for the most part, they're not really aware of us as much as we're not really aware of them. But there does seem to be some, or certain types or whatever, that seem to be aware of us just fine. But I think you're right. I think the world is full of spirit, and I don't think it's that people won't see it. I just think that a lot of people can't see it. At least they haven't developed that part where they can, whether it's a pineal gland thing where that's why you can see them sometimes, is because maybe your pineal gland is more activated than most people's, or the clairaudience where you're hearing things. But your general sensitivity sounds like it's really pretty high, and I hope you learn how to protect yourself from that. Not that I'm worried that you're in danger or anything, but it's got to be extra tough to be dealing with all this other stuff on top of just life as it is.
I guess I never really thought about it. I just thought maybe I was just crazy, even believing these things are possible.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think everything that you've laid out, and of course I'm hearing your take on it, but it all makes perfect sense. The other thing is I have done this for a lot of years now, and I've heard a lot of claims, and everything you're talking about are things that I've heard other people claim. Like if you were all alone with this stuff and it was just things I'd never heard before, I'd be like, well, yeah, this better cut this short, but that's not it at all. I've heard these stories many, many times from other people that are having them. So you're not alone in this. And I think that if you look, you'll find a lot of people that maybe could even help guide you on this, how to handle it and how to mitigate it in your own life, because it is, it's got to be a weird place to live, knowing that at any moment you could see or have to deal with something that most people aren't going to see. But, I'll leave it with you. But if you would like some guidance on that, I know one wonderful person I'd love to put you in contact with, and she could discuss it with you and see what you think.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even know, where to start with harnessing it, or I would just like to know when it's happening, whether or not it's happening.
Well,
that woman on the bus,
I'm pretty
anybody
sure.
See this?
Yeah. And granted, I will say that, now more than ever, probably the average person's senses are dulled to an extreme measure, because, we're absolutely inundated with stimuli from our lives and our gadgets and our smells and our sounds and our sights. It's like everything just kind of pounds us off of our center and just puts us in this, this 3D concrete world. But I think that, we all have the ability to be centered and to be aware. And it just sounds like you never got yours pounded out of you.
I tried.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's some incredible stories. And I really have enjoyed listening to this. And is there anything more you wanted to add today?
Well, I do have When I Thought I Met My Angel. I don't know if you've got time or
We've got time. Go ahead.
met
I'd
a
love to hear that.
angel.
Yeah.
This was, I remember the date. It was January 6th, 2014. And again, I was working downtown. I was doing an evening job that I absolutely hated too. I hate like the evening shift.
Mm-hmm.
But it was January 6th, and I woke up that day and I can't explain it, but I was so sad.
Mm.
I didn't know why I was so, like, I had this deep sadness, and I don't usually describe myself as a sad person or anything like that. I wouldn't say I'm the happiest person, but it was almost debilitating how sad I was. But I thought it might be the time of year and stuff too. Like January 6th, January in where I live can be like January, February, March, April. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Weather, climate, after Christmas, nothing to look forward to. And I did not like my evening job. My son was younger. I was missing out on everything. But I spent the entire day. I went to work just sad. But I was all day wondering what is wrong with me. And I was even talking to God, like, why am I so sad? What's wrong? Like, I wanted it to go away because I didn't know what was causing it. And it was kind of sadness that you couldn't live with. And I didn't know where it was coming from. So I was going home after. I was surprised I even did my shift. Like, I wasn't crying sad, but I was waiting for my bus and finished my day, and I was just beat, like, no, just looking down at my feet, basically, at a bus shelter, waiting for my bus. And I see feet come. I saw a bus roll away, like I wasn't paying attention. I was in my own little world, but saw these black boots and a skirt and a long coat. And then I hear a voice. She's, "Excuse me, can I ask you if you're okay?" And I looked up, and there's this beautiful, she was like a Nigerian lady, beautiful. And she said, "Can I ask you if you're okay? Because I'm just asking because I can't help but notice that you look really sad." So I was like shocked. Like, I didn't even see her coming, and I was embarrassed too that a stranger was asking me why I'm so sad. Like, I was thinking, like, how pathetic did I look, right? Like, I thought I was sitting there by myself being sad, but she noticed me, and it was 10 o'clock at night. And I said, "No, I'm okay." I was really having a hard time answering her, and she was so intense, like really sweet, but she just, like, there was an intensity of staring at me, and just, "Are you sure? Because you really do look sad." And I'm, "No, no, I'm okay. I'm happy." I was just mortified that I said that. I'm happy. It was such a pathetic, "I'm happy." Like, I didn't even mean to say that. It just came out. And I thought it might even sound sarcastic, right? The way I said it. And I felt like an idiot. And she said something else, but then she told me she was just coming home from a house church. And I know what a house church is. Like, we had house churches in my apartment built. Like, as soon as she said it, I was picturing Jerusalem and Jesus and the disciples. As soon as she said that, that's what I'm picturing. But at the same time, my mouth is saying, "Oh, house church, I've never heard of that." Just like, I thought at the, like I said, I'm like, I can't believe I said that. And she goes, "Oh, my child." And she had her arms out, and she had long, flowy sleeves too. "Oh, my child, back in Jesus' day, all they had was house churches." So I'm going like, duh. I knew that, right?
Sure.
We made small talk a little bit. I was trying to answer her, but I couldn't think of things to say to her. It was just so bizarre. And finally, she was just standing there kind of staring at me, but it was intense, but not mean. She was sweet. And she said, "Do you know Jesus loves you?" And she said that like so seriously. I was like, sorry. Yeah. But at the time, too, I just thought she was a really nice lady. And I thought that maybe she was going to witness to me. And I'm already a Christian, so she didn't have to do that. So I said, "Yeah, I know. I'm actually a Christian too, right?" But she didn't even answer any. She didn't just stared at me. So thank you. And we ended up saying our goodnight. I can't remember what she said, but she left. And when she walked away, I looked down to my feet for a minute and I cried finally, like for the first time.
Aww.
But like I said, like I thought she was going to witness to me, and I didn't want to waste her time. I knew she had places to go. It's 10 o'clock at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought just then, like I shed a tear or two. And then I had that realization, like I need to look where she went, right?
Uh-huh.
And of course I looked up and she was nowhere.
Wow.
Nowhere.
Aww.
So I'm thinking too, like, did I see an angel? Did I meet an angel? Thinking that all night. And the next morning I wake up and the first thought I had was, it was January 6th. January 6th is the anniversary of when I had met a man, and we had been together like 7 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, like, that's the night, right? January 6th, it was 2005, I think.
Oh.
Why I couldn't remember the day before, I searched my brain. I was asking God, what's wrong with me? Everything. I knew the date, but that reality completely wiped from my brain. And two, what broke us up, I thought he was the love of my life at the time, right? So we were broken up at the time that I met this woman, but I was still very sad. Even though all day long I'm thinking why I'm so sad, and I couldn't even think of the date.
Yeah.
The reason he was a different religion and culture than me.
Oh.
So I knew that the entire time. It was just a fling at first, right? But I knew there wasn't going to be really a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he told me, like, my family's bugging me to get married, start a family. But I didn't think I'd be included with that.
Yeah.
But he said, "I want to tell my family that I want to marry you, but would you convert to my religion?" And as soon as he said the word convert, I was shaking my head.
No.
Nope. I thought at the time that I would have done anything. I hadn't even thought of that. As soon as he said that, I was like, nope. Nope, won't convert. I'm Christian. I'm not, I might go to your church or something like that, but no, I am not, my belief is my belief.
Right.
And that is pretty much what that ended it.
Oh.
So I wondered if that was connected, like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a beautiful moment.
Pardon me?
The meeting the angel is a beautiful moment, though.
In full disclosure, like a week later, I did see her again, exact same place, exact same time.
Oh, okay.
She walked past me. This time I did see her get off the bus. And then when I saw her, I was like, oh, I was disappointed. Like, I thought she was an angel. She must be real, right? But she walked past me. I was sitting in the exact same spot. She walked and said, shalom to me. She gave me a little head nod, shalom, kept on walking. I looked down because I was like, oh, she's real. But then I was like, well, look where she went, Patti. And so the last time of all the times that I think this might be significant too, was the train station. She was in the train station and she was going up the escalator. Was the last time I saw her. And I wonder if that's symbolic too. Like,
Oh, yeah,
of
maybe.
all the places to meet her and to see her, and then she's going up
Yeah.
an escalator.
Oh, that is very beautiful. I will say this. I think angels certainly can appear as their own distinct beings. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But I think sometimes they act through people. And, they find people to bring us messages and to, bring us encouragement and reassurance. And so, like, I'm sure that there are angelic pets, that those, pets that show up right when things are tough, and it turns out to be the exact thing a person needs. And, I don't think it has to be, this divine radiant being stepping out of the clouds. That I think we probably have all seen angels and interacted with them at different times, but maybe they interacted with us by other means. And I think that that's a very possibility.
Well, I thought, like, even if she wasn't an angel, I did think there was something supernatural about the whole thing. Like, I mean, she was at the perfect place, the perfect time, having my memory wiped from what the date was and how it affected me.
Yeah.
If I saw her again, yeah, I would go up to her as a lady. I thought you were an angel, but I swear, because she's a believer too, I'm like, I swear God sent you to me that night. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
if I did ever see her again. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that God did, but that's amazing. I think it's been an amazing conversation as well, Patti. I thank you so much for coming back, and please, if there's more experiences or things you realize you want to share as well, you're always welcome to come back.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Hope I didn't ramble on too long.
you rambled on the perfect amount, and it was some great stories. And thank you so much, because it's a sacred thing to hear people's stories, and I love it, and I really do respect that. It's not easy for people to come on a forum like this and share, open up their hearts. But I'm very honored that you did, and please know that the door is always open.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you again so much for all your love and support. And remember, if you want to follow the Paranormal Portal, probably the easiest way is to head over to paranormalportal.net. And that's the homepage for the Paranormal Portal. And you'll find links to all of our different social media and sites and information about the shows, including our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paranormalportal. Or just look for Paranormal Portal on Google or whatever search engine, and you'll find links to our social media such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So we're kind of all over the place, and we're spreading as well as we can. But anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. Y'all take care, and remember, we love y'all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Until next time.